2 days, 13 hours, 59 minutes and about 10 seconds. 2 days, 13 hours, 59 minutes and 6 seconds. 2 days, 13 hours and just about 59 minutes. Well, if you are not able to follow, let me tell you that the countdown for the IBPS PO preliminary examination for the year 2017 has begun. You all know that the IBPS PO prelims exam for the year 2017 is scheduled to start on the 7th of October, and the first slot is at 8 a.m. The reporting time is 8 a.m. right? So we have roughly about 2.5 days for the first slot. All right. So the point is the countdown has begun. Hello boys and girls, a very good evening and welcome to this live session on the IBPS PO preliminary exam strategy brought to you by the partnership between Govt and TalentSprint. I hope all of you are in good health and you're fully geared up to take the IBPS PO exam, which is due in the next 2 days, right? Well, this is session number 7 as a part of the IBPS PO refresher series brought to you by both Govt and TalentSprint. We have done 6 sessions already, 2 each on quantitative aptitude, reasoning ability and English language, where we have discussed some of the toughest questions chosen from the Govt papers. Right now, when I say toughest, it doesn't necessarily mean that the questions difficulty level was very high. It means that we have found most of the students failing to answer these questions, either because of the complexity of the question or because of committing some silly mistake, right? So I think a good number of questions has been discussed across all the 3 sections, quant, reasoning and English, if you have already participated. If you have missed out on any of these sessions, don't worry, because all these 6 sessions are available in our YouTube channel, in TalentSprint's YouTube channel. You can just go back and check the archives. And today is the last session as a part of this refresher series. And today's session is going to be on your exam strategy. What do you have to do in that 1 hour, in that 60 minutes of your IBPS PO preliminary examination, so that you can maximize your chances of selection? And this has been brought to you by Govt and TalentSprint. So I hope all of you have enjoyed the last 6 sessions, and I'm sure there'll be a good learning in this session as well. We'll be spending the next 30 minutes trying to understand the ideal exam strategy. I mean, now that we are so close to the IBPS PO preliminary exam, I'm sure a lot of questions are running in your head. Like, I'm sure many of you are excited, and then most of you are nervous, right? There's some bit of nervousness which is kind of getting into your nerve route. I mean, and you're like a little tense. You don't know what's going to happen, right? You're worried about what type of questions would be asked. You're worried about your performance. You're worried about what would be the sectional cutoff, what would be the overall cutoff, right? You are maybe trying to find answer to questions like how many questions should I answer, minimum number of questions that I should answer from each section so that I can clear the section cutoff, right? You might be worried about the sequence in which you must attempt the sections, right? And you might be thinking of what are the important topics in a particular section, or what are the kind of questions that I should not focus on, etc., so that you can make the most of that 1 hour of your time, right? So this 30 minutes that we're going to spend now will help you get answers to most of these questions. Well, the answer to most of these questions is actually I do not know. Like, if you ask me what is going to be the expected cutoff, my straight answer is I do not know. What are the kind of questions that will be asked? I do not know, right? How many minimum number of questions that I should answer so that I can clear the cutoff? I actually do not know. And you must have heard me saying this many times already in my earlier sessions as well. But then a couple of important things that we will really spend time and discuss will be on the split of time, the way you allocate your 60 minutes across these 3 sections, and the sequence in which you have to attempt these sections so that you can give your best shot possible. Right now, we'll be getting into these 2 points of discussion in the next few minutes. But before that, let me see if you have joined the chat already, and if you have any questions that you want me to answer in particular, keeping in mind the exam strategy. Right, I can see that a lot of you have got into the session already. Yeah, many of you have mentioned that come to the point directly and discuss what you want to discuss. So if I have to come to the point directly, I think in simple words I can finish this session in 1 minute, go give your best and come back. Be confident, right? The only one statement that I would like to make is, if you think you can, you will. If you think you cannot, you will not. That's all about it, right? It is not just your aptitude that's going to help you. It is more to do with your attitude. I've mentioned this a number of times in my earlier sessions that it is not just a test of your knowledge, it is a test of your state of mind, right? They're trying to see if you are good at managing time. They're trying to see if you can work under pressure, right? These are the skills which are actually getting tested through these kind of aptitude rounds, right? And for you to be able to perform really well, you just have to, you have to focus not only on the aptitude but also on your attitude. So you have to feel confident about your preparation, right? You should walk into the examination center with full of confidence and make sure that you do the right things, right? I mean, you should maintain the right speed and the right accuracy throughout those 60 minutes so that you can capitalize on your preparation and boost your chances of selection. So that's about it. I think we can end the session here if I have to, give you the summary. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions that you that others might have. So if you are, if you have something more important to do, I think you should just focus on that, right? I mean, if you are worried about your preparation, if you want to kind of learn some topic now, maybe you better leave this session and prepare on that if you haven't completed it already. Okay, otherwise you can be here and ask whatever questions you have pertaining to your IBPS PU preliminary exam strategy. We are not going to discuss any subject related stuff here. We have already had 6 sessions, and there are other live sessions that we usually have, so you can just participate in those sessions. Today is just going to be a general discussion. All I am trying to say is keep yourselves confident for your IBPS PU preliminary examination. You have worked really hard in the last few months. You have put in a lot of effort. You have burned the midnight oil, and you have done all the best that you could do, right? Or all that was possible for you, right? And if you should be satisfied. I mean, if you are walking to the examination center with some regret that अरे ये भी करना था, अरे मैंने ऐसे करना चाहिए था, I should not have done that, I should not have gone to that movie that day, I should have not watched the India versus Australia matches, then I would have been better prepared, then you are already screwed up. I mean, you have already set yourselves up for failure, right? So if these thoughts start coming in, then let me tell you, you're not going to crack it. Okay, be confident. Whatever you have done, just go back and give your best. So I can see that a lot of you have joined the chat already. Thank you for joining us. We have Divya Murthy, Gurpreet Singh, Shrikant, then we have Sita Ramaya, we have Shammi, Ankita Sharma, Mohna, Akash, and many others there. So thank you guys for joining us. You can just keep posting your questions about IBPS PU preliminary examination, and in the process of answering your questions, I'll discuss a lot of stuff which will probably help you in maximizing your chances of selection. Okay, so yeah, we also have Ramesh Kumar, Anu, and Neeraj Jha, Arpita Chaudhary. Silence speaks, and he really spoke here. He says yes sir. So hi, Silence speaks. And then we have Lakshmi and Danish and Anita and others there. Good. So what are the questions? How confident are you about your preparation? How confident are you about cracking the IBPS PU preliminary examination, which is due on the 7th of October? I mean, I'm sure all of you would know your slot of examination, right? It could be 7th or 8th or 14th or 15th. Irrespective of that, I would say you should be ready. Now you should be like, okay, I'll go and write the IBPS PU exam. 7th or 15th is no different in my view, right? You're already ready. Okay, so what are the questions? How confident are you was the question. Okay, we have a wonderful suggestion from Danish who says, watch the 3 Idiots movie, it will boost your confidence. I love this idea. Now 3 Idiots or any other movie is up to you, right? Go back, watch your favorite movie. I don't know if you have participated in my earlier sessions, you would find this particular point that I'm going to make a little monotonous. But for those who have not been a part of our earlier sessions, will definitely find this to be a little strange and interesting and like, oh, should I really do this? The point is as follows. One day before your examination, let's say your exam is on 7th. So I would say when you get up on 6th morning, do not do anything related to your preparation. From 6th morning till you finish your exam on 7th, or from 7th morning till you finish your exam on 8th, or from 13th till you finish your exam on 14th. And similarly, from 14th morning till you finish your exam on 15th, do not touch anything which will be towards your preparation. Cut your preparation completely, right? See, I think this last minute preparation is what hampers your performance. While we don't realize this, this is what creates problems for you. I've seen a lot of students flipping papers even outside the examination hall, and I fail to understand what's actually being done there. What are you trying to do in that last few minutes which you could not do in the last 2 months, 3 months of your preparation? Do you think this is going to add to your preparation? No, it will only make you nervous. See, the biggest challenge that most of us have is handling that pressure, right? Handling that nervousness. If you do such stuff, prepare till the last minute. See, you have to prepare till the last minute, but not literally till the last minute, right? I mean, we always say prepare till the last minute, but that does not mean that your reporting time is 8 o'clock until 7:59 you're doing some drama there outside the examination hall, right? That's not last minute preparation. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do, right? So cut your preparation completely 1 day before the exam, right? I mean, one advice to all of you, right? Try it once. I'm sure it will help you, right? Like, what should we do in the last 1 day? Many students ask this question to me. My simple answer is don't do anything. Relax. Go watch a movie. Do something which you like painting or singing or music or whatever. Of course, try to keep it indoors so that you don't get yourself into a physical injury and then it becomes difficult. Like, you love playing cricket. You have gone to play cricket on the day before the exam and you have hurt yourself and now you're not able to take the exam. That should not happen. Okay, do something which is like peaceful and does not involve too much of physical activity. So this really helps. I mean, watching your favorite movie or watching a movie that can boost your confidence will definitely help. Yeah. And yes, one other thing that you have to do, maybe a day before the exam or sometime now, is go check the venue of your examination very clear. Check as in you don't have to go and inspect it. I mean to say, in terms of location, you should know where exactly is that location. Because I have seen this can be an exception, but I would like to mention it here. There was a student of ours when we had a classroom program. So this student of ours who was definitely one of the students who would crack an IBPS preliminary examination. I mean, he was like he was very good in all the subjects. He scored really well in all the mock exams and the other mock practice tests that we used to conduct. You know what happened? He could not find or locate his examination center on the day. Laziness. Not really laziness. He was like, why should I waste my time in finding out a center? I can do that on the day itself. Let me focus on preparation. Too much focus on preparation. On the day of the examination, got struck. He has no clue about where his center is. People around him couldn't help. Understand, exams are on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. You will not have the usual traffic, right? And hence, people may not be aware of your center. No, usually these examination centers are in the outskirts. Usually, right? He could not find his center. He reached the examination venue late. He was not allowed to take the exam. Lost a wonderful opportunity. What can be done? Nothing can be done. So don't get yourself into such problems. I mean, this is the worst thing that could happen to anyone, I would say, right? So don't get yourself into such problems, right? So go visit the examination center in person unless you know it like really well. I mean, unless you have been to that place already. Okay. And yes, make sure that you carry the right ID proof and photographs and whatever is required as required. All those details have been given, right? I mean, you should have a printout of your admit card and all that stuff. Again, don't try to take a printout on that day itself and find that it happened to me once. I'll tell you, when I was in college, I had to take one competitive exam, which was on Sunday. I thought I'll take the printout on the morning of the exam. Failed to realize that Sunday the shops would be closed. Added to my nervousness. I mean, the only thing is, however well I am prepared, now I am nervous because I don't have a copy of my admit card and I don't see a way out, right? In the last minute, one of my friends had one of his friends who had a printer at his home, got the admit card printed for me. That fellow, thanks to him, had to run all the way from his home to the place where I was to hand over the admit card to me. And only then I could take the exam. But while I could take the exam, the challenge is it added to my nervousness. And now, whatever you do, you can't really cool down and give your best, right? You're already you've gone to the next orbit, right? You are excited and now excited in a negative way now, and you are in the next level, and it becomes difficult for you to perform. So these are simple things, but can be very, very difficult and can hamper your performance. So you have to be extremely careful about such things, right? I mean, this is really, really very difficult things to get into. So don't get yourselves into such troubles. Okay. Yeah. So all these photocopying centers and all were closed on Sunday, and failed. I was like, useless fellow, what have you been doing all these days? I mean, useless fellow myself, right? What did you do in the last few days? What were you doing it? So some things you really have to be prepared for, right? Anyways, any other question before we talk about the structure of exam, time allocation, and other stuff there? I mean, most of this has been discussed many times already. Exam strategy remains the same. I mean, what will change? Nothing would change, right? The only thing that will change is the structure. You already know the structure. You have taken enough mock tests. You have taken enough all India mock exams through our online program. So you would know about how to perform. You would have tried a lot of variations in your attempts, right? In each of your attempts, and you might have worked out on a strategy and figured out what works best for you. So maybe you'll have to just go and do that. Okay, but let's see if you have any other question. Okay, we have a question from, no, I don't know if it's a question or anything, but from Anu here. Anu says that, when I finish PO paper, I am able to attempt around 50-55 questions only. Why it happens so? Should I check how many questions I have solved every 10 minutes during the paper? No, I would not suggest that you should check how many questions you have solved every 10 minutes, etc. These numbers are all available. I don't know if you have really looked at the interface, but the exam interface for IBPS or SB exams is really robust, and it's very good in my view, right? You don't really have to count or anything there. Numbers would be shown. If you just mouse over on the topic name, see there are these subject tabs on top, right? Quant, reasoning and English. So when you mouse over, when you take the cursor on top of that subject name on that tab, you will know how many questions you have attempted, etc. So you don't really have to keep a check of that, right? I think the problem, Anu, is, I'll tell you, this is a very common problem. It's not just with you, but many others. What usually happens is when you start the exam, right, you are slow. You're not at the peak of your speed. You actually pick up only a few minutes later, and you will get to the best of your speed towards the end of the exam. So it goes like this. It goes like this. In the graph of number of questions solved versus time increases. It's like a linear, as the time. I mean, the point I'm trying to make in simple words is, if you have solved X questions in the first 10 minutes, I'm sure you'll be able to. If you have attempted X questions in the first 10 minutes, you will attempt, let's say, 2X questions in the last 10 minutes. How could you attempt 2X questions in the last 10 minutes? Not because those 2X questions are easier than these X questions. It is just because you are in a hurry now. Now you have realized that, okay, time is running by. See, when you're solving the first question, right, the clock which you have on the screen says 59 minutes and 59 seconds to go. 59 minutes, 58 seconds to go. It looks heavy. Okay, 59 minutes, right? It makes you slow if you are not trying to control your behavior there. I mean, if it is uncontrolled, then you obviously feel like, okay, I have a lot of time. But when the same clock says 9 minutes to go or last 1 minute to go, you read it really fast. I mean, you feel that difference, right? This is what you need to manage. This is what is called time management. You have to perform at the best speed from the start till the end, right? You should treat every minute of your exam as the last minute. Only then you'll be able to attempt maximum number of questions. You're able to follow. The first minute should be treated as though this is the last minute, and be really quick, right? This is a hard skill. This is not an easy skill to have, right, to possess. But with practice, nothing is difficult. Okay, so I hope you all have tried these things, and you will apply the same in your IBPS PO Premier examination as well. Okay, so I think that's the suggestion, Anu. Jay Datta here has asked a question that doing single puzzles with 13 to 14 minutes is going to be enough, or I'm actually weak in puzzles. I'll discuss these things when we get into that respective subject discussion and time allocation, right? Ramesh Kumar says, sir, watching the videos, getting basic ideas and then proceeding with the confidence, believing at our brain, is it sufficient to crack any exam? It's my first time, so please guide me. Well, Ramesh, I think at the outset, good that you have decided to attempt this competitive exam. A bank exam is really very competitive. I would say a right strategy if you are trying to get the concepts first and then proceeding with practicing more and more questions. But yeah, will it be sufficient to crack the exam in the first time? Is something which is is something which has not been generalized, right? I mean, you never know. All I would say is don't give up. You may fail in your first attempt, right? Let's face it. You know that there are only about 3,600 jobs this year through IBPS PO. So only 3,600 people are going to get those jobs. Others will fail. You should accept it, right? I mean, those 3,600 guys have definitely performed better than you. They have behaved differently when compared to you in that 1 hour of time. They need not necessarily be better than you in aptitude or in reasoning or in English language. I am not trying to show down on those 3,600 guys, but the point is they have done all the right things. See, it's not just about aptitude, like I said, right? It's a mix of all the elements, right? You should have the right aptitude, the right attitude. You should know how to manage time. You should be confident. You should try to fight that nervousness, right? You should know how to choose questions wisely. You should treat every minute like your last minute. These things will add to your performance, right? So I think those 3,600 guys have got the right mix of all these elements, and hence they have qualified. So if you fail, don't worry. Don't give up. That's very important, right? Don't give up. I think you actually fail not when you fail. You actually fail when you give up and you don't try to make the next attempt. Okay. What will be the expected cutoff for IBPS PO 2017? Arpita. Well, that's one of my favorite questions for which I have a simple answer. I'm sure many of you would know what my answer is going to be, but this time to keep it a little differently, let me tell you what happened last year. Last year in the IBPS PO preliminary examination, I think I vaguely remember the cutoff for general category. It was around 47 marks. This is a 100 marks paper, like you all know. The cutoff was 47 marks, 47 overall cutoff. The cutoff in, I think, reasoning was around 8.5. In quant, it was 8.25, and in English, it was around 7 marks. This is for the general category. For the reserved categories, it was definitely lower. So this is the kind of range, let me say. I mean, while I've always mentioned that don't worry about the cutoff, I would still say that cutoff is not in our control, right? It is only a circle of concern. You can't really influence it, and it is not predefined. Expected cutoff, why should I expect? I only know what I can do in the exam. My performance is under my control, so I'll focus more on that than focusing on the expected cutoff and all that. I mean, my simple question to all of you is, let's say, not expect. If I give you an expected cutoff, will you perform accordingly? Like, for example, if I tell you that 5 marks is going to be the cutoff in English, 5 in reasoning, and 5 in quant. So would you stop performing after you have attempted 10 questions? For the safer side, let's say 10 in quant, 10 in reasoning, 10 in English, and then stop it, because anyway cutoff is going to be 5 and overall cutoff, let's say, is going to be 20. You will clear all the cutoff scores, right? Sectional as well as overall. Will you stop? No. You will still continue and answer as many questions as possible in 1 hour. Yes? If I tell you that no, the cutoff in reasoning is going to be 31.25, the cutoff in quant is going to be 29.5, and the cutoff in English will be 27, and the overall cutoff is going to be 91 marks. Will you give up? Because this is too difficult, right? And if these are the numbers, if this is the cutoff, then it's really difficult for many of us, for most of us. So ideally, you should not even go and take the exam. You should not even attempt the exam there. So would you just give it up? I mean, give up now itself? No, you will still go and give your best possible, right? So in either case, you are going to go and give your best. So why do you worry about cutoff? How is it going to help you? It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. It will only add to your nervousness. So focus. Last year's cutoff, I have told you that by no way, I am trying to tell you what is going to be the cutoff this year. It can be more, it can be less. It all depends, right? There are a lot of factors on which it depends. It can depend on your, not only your performance, but performance of all the other students. It depends on the performance of, your own performance. It depends on the type of questions asked, difficulty level, etc. So there's no point in that. I mean, it's like trying to guess what is going to be the now there's a all format series coming up, right? Sri Lanka's tour to India starting in October, I guess, right? 3 test matches, 3 one-day internationals, and 3 T20 internationals. Now, depending on how India, whitewashed Sri Lanka in the last series, Can we predict what is going to happen in the next series? Your gut may say something, but is it bound to happen? No. Is it guaranteed? No. We won the first 3 matches against Australia. We should have won the 4th one also, because last 3 matches India has won, right? So 4th match also India should win. But what happened? Australia defeated us. What happened in the 5th match? We defeated them back. Can you predict things? No. The most predictable thing in these exams is unpredictable. Okay, so don't worry about any of these things. All right. Now let me do one thing. What I will do is, in the next few minutes, maybe next 10 minutes, is while I know all of you know the examination structure, I'll put it up on the screen first. Try to tell you about how you should split your time across these 3 sections, and then what are the types of questions that you must attempt from each of these sections there. All right. So let's quickly spend next like 5 minutes in looking at the structure of the exam and how you should break your composite time of 1 hour. Before we get back to your other general questions there. So the structure is on your screens now. Yeah, I think for many of you this is the real agenda. So let's finish this first, so that Anu, by the way, has mentioned that most of the times when there is Rohit sir's session, the results are announced. The UIIC, United India Insurance Company results have been announced now. So that's the news for all of you, and of course the news for me as well. And insight that I've got, the news is that UICC results have been announced according to Anu. I'm not sure. You guys go check it. And Anu says that most of the times it happens when I'm taking a session. So next time, guys, when you're waiting for a result, and if it is taking too long for the results to announce, let me, you pass that information to me. I'll conduct a session. Hopefully that gives you the makes the announcement faster. Yeah. So I think all the best to all those who have attempted that exam. Let's hope for the best. I hope all of you have qualified and you get your dream job there. Now back to this screen here, which talks about the preliminary exam structure. So look at this. I mean, all of you know this, right? We have got 3 sections, 1, 2, and 3. The sections are English language, quantitative aptitude, and reasoning. And the pen has stopped working. 1 second. Alright, so like you all can see, the 3 sections that we have in the IBPS preliminary examination are English language, quantitative aptitude, and reasoning ability. The number of questions in that order are 30, 35, and 35, right? So 30 in English language, 35 in each of quant and reasoning, and that makes it 100 questions, right? 70 plus 30, 100. Maximum marks 30, 35, 35, right? So one mark per question there. And we have a composite time of 1 hour. Composite time of 1 hour for this IBPS preliminary examination. So basically, if you see, you have got 1 hour of time. You have got 1 hour of time to attempt 100 questions. And what you can do in this 1 hour is solve about 100 questions or attempt 100 questions. The maximum that you can score, is 100 marks there. Now, how do you want the time to be split? Let's look at the first question. We will discuss about the sequence later, but let's answer the first question. I know all of you have some strategy in your mind already. So tell me, what do you think is the best way to split the 60 minutes? 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So how would you like to break that 60 minutes into these 3 sections? Yeah. Okay. And greetings coming in here. So congratulations to all those who have cracked the UIIC exam, United India Insurance exam there. Yeah. I think Neeraj is the one who has cracked it. I can see a lot of them congratulating Neeraj, while Neeraj says I won't give the mains exam. That's strange. Who else has cracked it? Okay, I think Neeraj is the only one who has mentioned that. So congratulations Neeraj, and congratulations to all others who have cracked this exam there, and best wishes for your next round. Okay, so I had asked the question, how would you like to break up the time? So Ajit Sharma has mentioned 15, 25 and 20, and so has Kunal Gupta 15, 25 and 20. right? Shubhajit Das says 22, 23, 15. This is interesting. Shubhajit says 22 minutes. I'm assuming that you are talking about English language and quant and reasoning. I mean that order. Sai Shrikant says 15, 15, 15. That is only 45 minutes, Shrikant. Yeah, so I think I'm trying to understand what all have you planned so far. 25 in quant, 20 in reasoning, and 15 in English, somebody says. Yeah. Then Ankita says 15, 20, 25. Good. Abdul says English 15, reasoning 20, quant 15. And a lot of other answers have come in here. Yeah, a lot of other answers have come in. Yeah, so if I have to tell you about the breakup of the 60 minutes, I think I'll tell you what I would do, because there's no hard and fast rule that all of you should spend the same amount of time across each of the sections. You're getting me? I mean, if I say 15 minutes in English language, does not mean that everybody has to spend only 15 minutes or exactly 15 minutes in English language to crack it, right? Or 25 minutes in reasoning or 20 minutes in quant to crack it. Yeah. So there's no fixed rule. It depends on your own strengths and weaknesses, right? You should decide what is gonna work best for you. But ideally, there are a few things that you have to keep in mind. Like in these three sections, the one which should consume the least time is English language. Why? Because one, English language has got less number of questions when compared to quant and reasoning, right? Least number of questions when compared to quant and reasoning. Second, English doesn't really take as much time as it is required in quantitative aptitude and reasoning there. Yes or no? I mean, there, for most of the questions, you either know the answer or you do not know the answer, right? It's not like applying a formula, solving it, and all that stuff. So keeping these two factors in mind, I think English should take least amount of time. Reasoning comes next in my view, because there would be definitely some questions in reasoning which we would not even attempt, like complex circular arrangements, complex linear arrangements, or puzzles, or let's say things based on machine input output where you're not able to crack the logic of the output step. So these are some of the topics where you have no definite method to arrive at the answer. It's all about trial and error. And the best way to attempt such questions is to skip these questions. Solve the easier ones first. Yeah. So keeping this factor in mind, reasoning, though it has 35 questions in all, you will not be answering all the 35 questions. I think you will have to just manage with 20 questions in the first round of your reasoning attempt, right? Then comes quant. Quant would take the maximum amount of time, because here there is no single topic where there is no method. Every topic has got a definite method or a formula or a shortcut or a technique which can help you arrive at the answer. Secondly, questions here take a lot more time when compared to reasoning and English language, because there is a lot of process involved, right? You use the formula, substitute the values, then do the simplification, and then finally arrive at the answer. So this calculation takes a little bit of time. You cannot answer even a single question in quant without doing these calculations. Yeah. So keeping this factor in mind, quant would need the maximum amount of time, right? So I think if I have to give you the sequence in which you must spend time, least for English, maximum for quant, and moderate for reasoning. That's what is ideal in my view. But again, like I said, depends on your own strength and weakness. Now, a simple distribution would be 15 minutes for English language, about 20 minutes for reasoning, and 25 minutes for quant. 15, 20, and 25. 15 minutes for English language, 20 for reasoning, so that makes it 35, and the remaining 25 minutes for quantitative aptitude, which makes it 60. 60 minutes, these three sections. I'm not saying you should attempt the sections in this order. We'll come to the sequence in which you'll attempt the sections later, but time allocation should be ideally around this: 15 minutes for English language, 20 minutes for reasoning, 25 minutes for quant, or 20 to 25 minutes for reasoning and quant. I mean, it can be 2-3 minutes here and there. In fact, for each of the sections, I think 2-3 minutes plus and minus is okay, but largely it should be around this. That's one way of dealing with it. Now let me tell you about another strategy. Today I met one of my students, and this particular student has been really good in performing in these bank and SSC exams. I mean, while she has not been able to crack or get through all the rounds, but she has cleared the preliminary exam a number of times, cleared the main exams of a lot of recruitment process a number of times. In fact, she cleared the SBI PO 2016 prelims and mains exam. Unfortunately, she could not attend the interview, which is very which is a sheer bad luck, I would say. But yeah, she had cleared the SBI PO prelims and mains rounds. So she has prepared enough, and she has got the right, and she has played with different strategies, different exams. Now she revealed a secret today. I mean, there was a revelation. right? I asked her, what do you do? And I got to know something really very, very interesting. I don't know whether you guys would like to apply this particular strategy of hers or not, whether this will suit all of you or not, whether this will suit me or not if I have to take any exam, but let me just share this with you. She says there is no point in dividing time across the 3 sections, that 15 minutes for English, 15 minutes for quant, 15 minutes for reasoning. The best way to work is attempt all the 3 sections in first half an hour. 10 minutes in quant, 10 minutes in reasoning, 10 minutes in English. Pakka 10 minutes. Don't try to do it more than 10 minutes, right? You spend 10 minutes in quant, then 10 minutes in English, 10 minutes in reasoning. And then you have to attempt the 3 sections again. So basically the idea or the funda is attempt each section twice in that 1 hour of time. In the first attempt that you do, first round of attempt, solve all the easier ones first. In those 10 minutes, try to do as many questions as possible. And when you visit the same section again, then try to pick up the other ones which you have marked for review. I thought this is like really wonderful. I mean, I never thought of this strategy. I don't know what your view is about this particular strategy, but just think about it. Sounds interesting. Maybe too risky to apply it now because your exam is only 2 days away, and I mean if you can take 2-3 mock exams in the next 2 days, see how this strategy works, well and good. Otherwise I would say don't take this risk. It could be very risky to try something completely new in your real attempt, but then keep this in mind. Now 10 minutes or 5 minutes is your call. I mean whether you want to spend 10 minutes in reasoning or 15 minutes first and then come back, but then the idea is good. Yeah, what do you say? Like I mean I have decided that I'll spend 10 minutes on English, let's say. So I'll finish English in 10 minutes, 0 to 10 minutes. 11 to 20 minutes I'll spend on reasoning. 21 to 30 minutes I'll spend on quant. I'll solve as many questions as possible. I know 10 minutes is not enough for reasoning. I know 10 minutes is not enough for quant. But 10, 30 minutes over, half time up, you have attempted all the 3 sections. The advantage is by this time, by the time this half an hour gets over, you would have got to know what kind of paper you have got. Yes or no? You have solved all the easier ones. Now you know where are the difficulties, where are the challenges, where are the most difficult questions. Now you will have to revisit the sections. You may choose not to revisit English language. Why? In the first 10 minutes you have solved enough easier questions. You know that it's a decent attempt. Let's say in the 10 minutes you are able to attempt 15 questions. And you know that okay, there are more difficult questions in reasoning and more in quant. So maybe you would like to spend the rest of the half an hour in those 2 sections only. You're getting it. So you will have to balance it out. I mean, you will have to take certain decisions and calls during the examination. It's very, very important. But a very good strategy in my view. Yeah, 10, or let's say 10, 15, and then go back and then jump back. Maybe that's the secret of our success. Yeah, I'm not sure. We should check this out. So I'm cautioning you guys. It's risky. It's risky, not in general, but it is risky to apply when your exam is 2 days away. Maybe if you can try it in 4 or 5 mock papers before your real exam, it may you may get used to it. You're supposed to get used to it, right? And then try to apply the same in your real examination as well. However, assuming you don't want to apply this, right? Assuming you don't want to apply this strategy and you want to have a fixed time for each section, it works. I mean, that is what everybody else has applied, right? Or many students have applied. But there, one very important point to be kept in mind is stick to whatever you have decided. If you have decided you will spend 14 minutes on English language, you have no right to spend more than 14 minutes in English language. 14 minutes and 1 second, in my view, is, not following your own strategy. You're getting it? If you have decided that you will spend 20 minutes in reasoning, after 20 minutes, just jump to the next section. You are just you cannot violate your own strategy. You're able to follow. If you have decided, let's say 18 minutes for reasoning, 18 minutes over, whatever number of questions you have attempted, irrespective of that, you just go to the next section. It could be English language or it could be quant or whatever it is. Yeah. Ideally, I would say keep a buffer of 5 minutes. So don't treat that you have got 60 minutes in the exam. Assume that you have got only 55 minutes and allocate those 55 minutes so that if there are any contingencies to be managed, those 5 minutes can be used at the end. I mean, now our life has become a lot simpler after the exams have gone online, right? Just with a click, the answer gets selected. Remember those OMR sheet days? You remember the OMR sheets used to be given and you had to darken the circles. Where many students failed when those exams were conducted, when paper and pencil based exams were conducted or paper and pen based exams were conducted. They used to solve good number of questions as per the time allocation and whatever. But they don't have time to darken the circles. People keep it for the end, right? Last 5 minutes I'll darken all the circles, or last 10 minutes I'll darken the circles. So strictly you have only 15 minutes for 15 minutes for the exam, because 10 minutes you're spending in darkening those things, no? 3, 4, 5, and very, very risky. One error anywhere and you continue marking the answers that way. Like for example, if you have decided that, okay, question number 16 to 20, the answers are 4, 3, 1, 4, 2. You start darkening 4, 3, 1, 4, 2. After darkening 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, after shading those 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, you realize that instead of darkening it or instead of shading it from 16 to 20, you've done it from 17 to 21 or 15 to 19. Screwed up. You can't do anything now. If it is a pencil based shading, maybe you can erase, but do you have time for that? No. If it is a pen, then gone case. 5 marks gone, right? Not 5, this is a loss of 6.25 marks. You could have actually scored those 5 marks, assuming your answers were correct. And now you'll get a negative marking of 1.25 marks. Because 5 into 1.25 is 1.25. So 6.25 marks lost there, unless one answer luckily matches, let's say. So that risk is not there, right? That risk is not there. Otherwise, it was even more difficult those days, I would say. Yeah, so technology definitely has helped us out. So by the time you solve the question, you mark the answer. Yeah. So I think the point is keep a 5-minute buffer anyway, even in online exam. Divide the remaining 15 minutes into these 3 sections and accordingly follow the strategy. You're getting it? Now, in what sequence should you attempt these sections? That's question number 2, right? Question number 1 is how should you allocate the time, which you have discussed. Question number 2 is in what sequence should you attempt these sections? In what sequence should you attempt? If I am writing the exam, I would like to start with quant and reasoning, followed by whatever the other section of these 2, and third I'll end with English language, right? I'll end with English language. And again, if you ask me, the sequence doesn't really matter. What matters is you stick to that time allocation that you've decided. That is where most of us fail. That is where most of us violate the strategy. You're getting it? So the sequence doesn't really matter, but it is always suggested that you start with your strength. Why do you think I want to start with quant and reasoning? Just because it is my strength. English is not my strength. I can do well in quant, I can do well in reasoning out of the 3 sections, but English, I'm not that good. Now, I would like to start with quant or reasoning because it gives a positive start. You must have seen, right? Batsmen, when they come to play, when they come down, I mean, Virender Sehwag is an exception, let him keep aside, right? Virender Sehwag is in another zone there, but other batsmen, when they come, they would like to settle first. Once they have settled, then they will play a long innings. I mean, that's the whole idea, right? Get comfortable. So you also have to kind of get, I mean, you can't be taking risk immediately, right? So that is the reason they say that you should always start with something that you're confident about. So if your strength is in quant, go with quant. If your strength is in reasoning, start with reasoning. Or if you think you are really good in English language and that's your strength, possible. Many students have English language as strength. While most of you may disagree with this, who will have strength in English language, but then there are people who find English language to be their real strength compared to the other sections. So start with English language. It should be a positive start, right? If the paper is difficult, then even that can screw up your performance, but assuming things go as planned, yeah, it's all on hope, right? So start with English language and then attend the remaining sections. Yeah. So sequence has got a direct relationship with your strength, right? You should keep that in mind. And the most important part is not the sequence. The most important part is the way you attempt, the way you spend your time. You're getting me? I think this is where you have to really pay good attention. Either follow the new strategy which I have told you, right? The one which is used by our student. Sounds very interesting, but if it is risky, don't take it. Don't take that risk. Maybe do the other thing, right? Follow the time allocation. Question number 3. We have discussed about time allocation. We have discussed about the sequence. Now, third question: what questions should we attempt first? Like for example, whether you want to go with a fixed time for each section, or you want to do 10-10-10 and then come back and do 10-10-10. Let's call that strategy as 10-10-10 strategy. I think I've got a name for this strategy, right? Let's call it a 10-10-10 strategy. So whether you follow the 10-10-10 strategy or you follow the fixed time strategy, it is important to start with the right kind of questions, right? So let's discuss about what are the right type of questions. Like for example, English language. I actually had a chat with Sylvia to understand this. So while I'm not the subject matter expert for English language, I think this is coming from an expert, right, who has taken up our English language course, who's the mentor for English language course. So Sylvia says that you are better off solving independent questions like close passage, fill in the blanks, spotting the errors, etc. right? Vocabulary based questions in reading comprehension, etc. Because these are direct questions, right? You don't have to read the whole paragraph to answer the question. Yeah, fill in the blank, spotting the error, then close passage to some extent, right? And vocabulary based questions, synonyms, antonyms, etc. So if you want to spend only 10 minutes, first answer all these type of questions, and then maybe try reading comprehension or para jumbles and stuff like that. So that's about English language. I'll keep it really quick, right? Then come to reasoning. In reasoning, what do you start with? I would never start with puzzles. Remember, the best shortcut in reasoning, the best way to solve questions in reasoning is not to solve certain type of questions. What are these questions? Circular arrangements, linear arrangements, puzzles. You're getting it. Complex circular arrangements, complex linear arrangements, assignment based problems. Why? There's no definite method. You never know how much time it's going to take, right? So don't attempt such type of questions. What should you attempt? Questions where there is a method, where there is a process that can be followed, like syllogisms, like coded inequalities, like blood relations, like directions, alphabet, element series, logical series, right? And maybe coding and decoding to some extent. I'll solve these questions first, because there is a process. Coding and decoding, again, there's no process. It is largely based on trial and error, but you can attempt each question independently. For a complex circular arrangement to be done, you have to analyze the whole data given there, right? You have to spend some time, and only then you may get 5 marks or you'll get 0. And even if you get 5 marks, you may end up spending 10 minutes, which is not the best use of your time. Yeah, so it's important to choose the right type of questions. Very, very important. In fact, the most important skill to maximize your score in reasoning. And finally, when it comes to quant, I would say start with simplifications, approximations, number series, these type of questions, right? Usually we get these questions in sets of 5, right? 5 simplifications, 5 approximations, 5 number series, right? So try to solve these questions very quickly. Then go for those miscellaneous questions which comes from arithmetic aptitude: percentage, profit and loss, simple and compound interest, average, ratio and proportion, yeah, and time and work, time and distance, permutations and combinations, etc. And then data interpretation. Data interpretation again comes in sets of 5. You may get 5 questions on DI, 10 questions on DI, 15 questions on DI, 20 on DI, it depends, right? Choose the easiest ones that you find, right? And then proceed accordingly. So I think it's important to choose the right type of questions. You know what is easy for you, what is not easy for you, right? I mean, within quant, maybe your strength is in simplification. So start with simplifications, yeah? If your strength is, let's say, data interpretation, start with data interpretation. See, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, and your strategy will depend on your strengths and weaknesses. You cannot follow a general strategy to get cracking. You're able to follow. It's personalized. So you have to devise your own strategy based on all the inputs that we have had in this session so far, and then see what works for you. Yeah. So I think that's all from my end. If you have any questions, I would love to answer your questions now, and close the session here. I think we should not be spending too much time discussing the strategy. Also, you should go back and continue with your practice. You have only 1 day left, I would say, because on the 6th of October, we are not going to do anything. Why? 6th of October is that relaxed day, right? Rest day. Take rest and then go and attempt the appear for the exam on the 7th of October. Okay, so I think I'm done from my side. I would love to answer your general queries very quickly, spending next 5-6 minutes, and post which we'll close the session. All right, so over to you guys now. Please start posting your questions so that I can take it up. Neeraj Jha says, does it make sense to attempt 100 questions? Yes, you should attempt 100 questions. I think your objective should be to attempt 100 questions in 60 minutes. You may solve only 55 of those 100 questions, which is fine. You may solve only 70 of those 100 questions, which is fine. You may solve only 40 of those 100 questions in the worst case, which is also fine. But ensure that you attempt all the 100 questions, right? I think you already failed the exam if you step out of the examination hall and say, I did not even read all the 100 questions. That's when you fail. You've already failed. You don't even have to wait for the result. Failure starts there, yeah? So target should be to attempt all the 100 questions. You may not solve. Like for example, when I start with reasoning, the first 5 questions itself are on complex circular arrangement. Done, I'm done. Why? Skipped. That's how I solve it. That's my solution. I've attempted these 5 questions. How many have I solved? 0. My attempt is over. I'll mark it for review. If time permits, I'll come back. I know that time never permits. I'm not going to come back, but I'll mark it for review. When that option is there, why not use it? I'll mark it for review. Go to the 6th question directly. 6th to 10th also are arrangements. Skip. Done. Within 30 seconds, 10 questions are done. I have attempted 10 questions. How many have I solved? 0. Not a problem. That's not a problem. Right? Ratika Sharma says next year IBPS PO difficult होगा क्या? अब ये तो मतलब कोई नहीं बता सकता. I'm sure इसका जवाब किसी के पास नहीं है. Yeah? Don't worry. इस साल तो दे आओ, पहले देखते हैं नेक्स्ट ईयर क्या होगा. Sumit says, how is it if you can solve English sections in middle or last? I mean, it's up to you, Sumit. I don't want to, give a strict rule that you have to do English in the middle or in the last or in the beginning, right? You decide. Your call. Akhila says, how to manage that 1 hour before exam? That's an interesting question, right? How do we manage that 1 hour before the exam? We have discussed about how to manage that 1 day before the exam, but how do we manage 1 hour before the exam? I think, what can we do? 1 hour before the exam, what do we do? What is your suggestion? I'm sure you guys will have a lot of ideas about how to spend that 1 hour so that we can keep yourselves calm and composed, right? I mean, that 1 hour is when that nervousness actually starts. Yeah. So what can be done? I would say you will not have to worry about that 1 hour if you have practiced the same thing for the last 24 hours. I mean, that's the reason I told you, right? Cut your preparation completely in the last 24 hours. If your exam is on 7th, you should stop your preparation on the night of 5th. And 6th, you should just relax. Go enjoy music, paint, maybe dance or whatever you like to do, right? Watch a movie. Like somebody had suggested watch 3 Idiots, right? Go watch 3 Idiots. Yeah, like Amir Khan says there, right? Success के पीछे नहीं, excellence के पीछे दौड़ो. Success खुद ब खुद आपके पीछे आएगी. So maybe that will boost your confidence. It'll help you, right? So maybe watch such movies. What to do 1 hour before the exam? The question is to you guys. This has come from Akhila. How to manage that 1 hour before the exam? If your exam is at 8:30, what do you do from 7:30 to 8:30? The one thing I know that you should definitely not do is get stuck in traffic and get nervous or get stuck somewhere in the middle of the route and find yourselves nowhere. That's the worst thing that can happen. You can go late for your wedding but not for your exam. There doesn't matter. There maybe people will appreciate. Not here. Chill, somebody says. Shiva Reddy says laughing. Ajit Sharma says I am remembering Shahrukh Khan's. क्या यार, मतलब इंग्लिश हिंदी मिक्स करके आप क्या बना रहे हैं यहाँ पर? आई एम रिमेम्बरिंग शाहरुख खान का. एक तो आपके शाहरुख की स्पेलिंग गलत है, ठीक है. एनीवे, आई एम रिमेम्बरिंग शाहरुख खान का डायलॉग ऑफ चक दी इंडिया. डायलॉग भी बता देते यार, सभी को नहीं पता है, राइट? आई एम श्योर यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द 70 मिनट, बट डायलॉग भी बता दो. Is there any separate sessions for IBPS clerks exam? Yes, we will do a separate refresher series for IBPS clerks exam. Stay tuned. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get alerts about those sessions for IBPS clerks exam. We would love to see you all joining us there. Sid Shaw says 1 hour before the exam, just glance at the nervous students. I don't know if it will help you ease out from your nervousness or only add to your nervousness, but maybe that's one technique. Ratika Sharma says breathe 1 hour before the exam. No, breathe even now. Don't do it only 1 hour before the exam. But yeah, if you are like someone who does meditation, who believes in that, maybe that will help. Yeah, breathing in that context, I'm sure. I mean, jokes apart, I'm sure you continue to breathe, but yeah, Ratika says you should just breathe and relax. Basically, her point is relax. Yeah. Be cool and calm. Vijay Lakshmi. We have Komi Reddy says my only weakness is that I get confused when I see word questions in quant. Please suggest something. Well, I can't suggest anything, Pavni, which can help you get out of that weakness in the last 2 days, right? I'm sure you have practiced enough in the last few months, but I think practice is the key. The only way to get out of that is to practice more and more, right? Don't believe that you can't do it. I think you have given up. You have decided that I can't solve word problems from quant, whatever that word problem means. Yeah? Don't give up. Any more suggestions? Keep calm and chill maro. Vaishnavi says, watch your video before the exam. Which video of mine will you watch? No, you better watch some movie or something. But not in the last 1 year. That 1 hour also is important, right? You are watching something in that 1 hour, you get confused. If it is motivating, maybe you just go watch something which is motivating. Vaishnavi says drink water. Sorry, Vasavi says drink water. Yeah. Drink water, but again, in limits, it can cause different types of problems, which is not really good to have. I mean, I'm sure all of you understand. They won't give you biological breaks in between the exam. Keep that in mind. So you have drunk enough water and now you kind of want to go use the washroom. It would be difficult. Again, jokes apart, that's a good idea. You should drink water before you walk into the examination center, but don't drink too much of it. Yeah. How can I check the whole question paper at once? Siddhartha Chakraborty. Siddhartha, the IBPS interface is very, very user friendly. You have a button which says all questions. You can click on that and check. Run through all the questions in once. Yeah, not as easy as having a paper in hand, but definitely better than seeing one question. I mean, question by question on the screen, right? Much better than that. Yeah, there's one person who has given a suggestion whose username is for you. He says सब भगवान को याद करो before 1 hour. Yeah. तो अगर आप भगवान में बिलीव करते हो तो डेफिनेटली याद कर लो, शायद काम आ जाए. You never know. Anything else? So I think, see, a lot of suggestions coming from your friends. I think I took a good stance by not answering it. Yeah, we've got a lot of good ideas. Some funny suggestions here. Somebody says रेडियो बजाओ, चिकन बिरयानी खाओ. चिकन बिरयानी, आपका संडे मॉर्निंग 8 o'clock एग्जाम है, आपको चिकन बिरयानी कहाँ मिलेगी, कोई बताए? आई मीन मिल सकती है चाहो तो, बट वाई? थोड़ा खाने पीने का ध्यान रखना यार. आई मीन 1 hour बिफोर द एग्जाम डोंट डू ऑल दिस स्टफ. चिकन बिरयानी खा तो लोगे मजे में, एग्जाम में प्रॉब्लम ना हो जाए. I drink Red Bull before the exams, Neeraj says. Somebody had mentioned that we should plan about the strategy for the exam. I would say don't do that. Don't think of what you're going to do in the exam or maybe you can do that. But don't think too much also. See, the problem is, why do you think we get nervous? Because we think too much. That's when you get stressed and you feel nervous, right? So too much of planning also is not good. Anything else? That's it. Listen to music. I think that's one suggestion that many of you have given. Yeah, so I think if music is something that you like, maybe listen to some music, something that can keep you energized. Going with high energy is again very important. Don't listen to some sad song and get, I mean, see, everything has got its own advantages and disadvantages, right? Listen to music. Yes, you have played some good music, but sad, unfortunately. You recall something sad that has happened with you in the past, and you flunk in the exam. I mean, these things can have a negative impact. Yeah. Anyway, so I think a lot of suggestions there for the last 1 hour. You decide what you think is the best thing to do. Amanjot Singh says, sir, 10-10-10 को try किया जाएगा, जा सकता है क्या? अमनजोत सिंह, या 10-10-10 वाली स्ट्रैटेजी मैंने बताई है, जो मैंने नहीं बताई है, मेरे एक स्टूडेंट ने आज ही मुझसे शेयर की है, एंड आई थिंक इट्स रियली अ गुड स्ट्रैटेजी। अब ट्राई किया जा सकता है या नहीं, ये आप पे डिपेंड करता है। आई मीन यू शुड बी कॉन्फिडेंट अबाउट इट, राइट। मेरे बोलने से कुछ नहीं होगा, राइट। मैं तो बोलूँगा ट्राई करो, बट अगर गड़बड़ हो गई तो वैसे भी दिक्कत है, राइट। सो यू सी इफ यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट, अप्लाई इट, अदरवाइज डोंट टेक चांसेस। ओके, एनीथिंग एल्स? Vijay Kumar says, can you tell which part to attend first? Vijay, we have already discussed this. Please watch the video again and you'll get your answer. All right, so I think we are done with the session today. I would like to close it now. I want you guys to spend your time wisely instead of just doing this casual discussion here. Of course, important, but too much of it will only be killing of your time, right? Vivek, I have no solution for this. You're saying पढ़ने का मन नहीं करता, अब इसका तो कौन क्या करे यार। ये वाली प्रॉब्लम सभी की, ये प्रॉब्लम मेरी भी थी यार, पढ़ने का मन नहीं करता है, क्या करें? I am sorry, I don't have an answer to this. क्या पढ़ने का मन नहीं करता है? I don't know what to say. तो किस चीज में रुचि है, मतलब किस चीज में इंटरेस्ट है? पढ़ने का मन नहीं करता, चलो मान लिया। आई मीन दिस इज ऑफ द टॉपिक, हाँ, जनरली आई एम आस्किंग यू। अगर पढ़ने का मन नहीं करता है, लग रहा है कि यार ये हमसे ना हो पाएगा, कौन तो इतना पढ़े एक एग्जाम के लिए, और फिर इतना कंपटीशन है, पता नहीं लाखों लोग क्यों एग्जाम लिखते हैं, पता नहीं इन्होंने सिर्फ 3600 वैकेंसीज क्यों निकाली हैं, पता नहीं सबके लिए एक जॉब क्यों नहीं होता है। अगर ऐसी वाली प्रॉब्लम है ना, तो पहले आपका माइंडसेट सही होना चाहिए, राइट। एंड लुक्स लाइक, मतलब आई एम नॉट पॉइंटिंग यू इन पर्टिकुलर, बट जनरली जिसके साथ भी प्रॉब्लम है ना, पहले अपने डिसाइड करो कि करना क्या है लाइफ में। मतलब पढ़ना नहीं है, पढ़ना नहीं हो रहा है, मन नहीं करता है, इट्स अ कॉमन प्रॉब्लम, राइट। तो करना क्या चाहते हो? अगर बैंक जॉब इज नॉट योर ड्रीम, देन डोंट इवन रन बिहाइंड दिस, इट मेक्स नो सेंस। या डू व्हाट यू लाइक। ज़्यादा ज्ञान हो रहा है लग रहा है मुझे, बट ठीक है, अब पूछा है तो मैं बता रहा हूँ। डू व्हाट यू लाइक, डोंट डू इट फॉर अदर्स, राइट। डोंट डू इट फॉर अदर्स, डोंट डू एनीथिंग फॉर अदर्स, डोंट लीव एनीथिंग यू वांट टू डू फॉर अदर्स। यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, राइट। बैंक एग्जाम सिर्फ अपने पेरेंट्स के लिए ना लिखो क्योंकि वो चाहते हैं आप बैंकर बनो, या वो चाहते हैं कि आप बैंक एग्जाम लिखो, नहीं होगा ऐसे। और कुछ और करना चाहते हो, नहीं कर रहे हो क्योंकि कोई और कुछ सोचेगा, ऐसा भी ना करो। यू नो दिस द वन प्रॉब्लम which is I'm sure many of you must have heard of this thing, right? But the one reason why most of the dreams get shattered in this world is because लोग क्या कहेंगे, या सो अगर ये लोग क्या कहेंगे वाली प्रॉब्लम है ना, so get out of it, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। या I mean you do what you believe in, I'm sure that's where the success lies. All right, I think enough of that general ज्ञान। we can साइलेंस स्पीक से सर रिप्लाई तो कीजिए। साइलेंस, आपका यूजर नेम देके मुझे लगा आप कुछ बोलोगे नहीं, तो आपने क्या पूछा? रिप्लाई तो कर देंगे, बट आपका क्वेश्चन कहाँ पर है? कोई बताए? साइलेंस स्पीक्स, हाँ वैसे सेशन हो गया है, आप लोग निकल सकते हो अपने अपने काम पे। काम क्या है? पढ़ाई करनी है, प्रैक्टिस करनी है। सो यू कैन गो, यू नो, कंटिन्यू योर प्रिपरेशन। ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट फ्रॉम द टीम TalentSprint for IBPS Prelims exam. I'm just trying to look at what silence has mentioned. I'm not finding your comment, I'm afraid of that, but यार नहीं मिल रहा मुझे आपका कमेंट। हाँ सुमित ने सही कहा है ना, सबसे बुरा लोग क्या कहेंगे लोग, यही बात थी, यही मैं बताना चाह रहा था। सबसे बड़ा रोग कि क्या कहेंगे लोग। Ghosh says UICC results out. Somebody had mentioned, I think Anu had mentioned in the beginning of the session that UICC results have been declared. She had also mentioned that most of the times these exam results are declared when I am taking a session. You have to go study this, right? If this is really true, I'll do something about it. I mean, it's good. I'll take more and more sessions so that you get your results very quickly. Prabhat Kumar says, sir, have you attempted, okay यार ये difficult question है आपने जो पूछा है, sir, have you attempted bank exams ever? आपने तो full score किया होगा. नहीं, ऐसी बात नहीं है. Full score मैं कर ही नहीं पाऊंगा क्योंकि वो मेरी strategy है ही नहीं. मुझे 100 में से 100 लानी ही नहीं है. मुझे तो sectional cut off और overall cut off clear करना है, जिसके बारे में मैं सोचता नहीं हूँ, बट मेरा टारगेट ये है कि बस 100 क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करने हैं. तो हाँ, मैंने बैंक एग्जाम्स दिए हैं या बैंक एग्जाम दिया है SBI PO का, क्लियर किया था प्रीलिम्स एंड मेंस. आपकी इन्फॉर्मेशन के लिए बता दूं, बट मुझे इंटरव्यू से निकाल दिया गया. बोलते यार नहीं जमोगे, गेट आउट. ऐसे नहीं बोला, बट हाँ जो रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर हुआ ना उसमें पता चला कि इंटरव्यू में इन्होंने सेलेक्ट नहीं किया. तो उसके बाद मैंने ट्राई करना छोड़ दिया यार. ईगो पे बात आ गई मेरे, यार क्या है यार. एनीवे, जोक्स अपार्ट, नहीं जोक नहीं है, सच बात है. मैंने उसके बाद ट्राई नहीं किया क्योंकि आई फाउंड कॉलिंग इन व्हाट आई एम डूइंग नाउ, राइट. बट आपको डेफिनेटली ट्राई करना है. डोंट गिव अप, राइट. यू मे फेल, don't give up, give it another try, and I'm sure you will find success soon. Yeah. Anything else? That's it. All right, so that's all from our end. Thank you for joining us in this session. I hope all of you have enjoyed. More than entertainment, this was to get things rightly in perspective, and I'm sure all of you have understood that it's all about being confident. So the only thing that I would like to mention before I sign off is be confident. That's where the difference lies, right? It's not just about aptitude. It is more to do with your attitude and your mindset and your state of mind, basically, when you are performing in this exam, right? So for you to be able to give your best possible, whether you qualify or not is secondary, but for you to be able to give your best in that 1 hour of time, you should be really calm and composed and relaxed, and that can happen only when you practice. So practice for that in these last 2-3 days that you have before your exam, and go and give your best shot. I'm sure you'll come out with flying colors. Remember, success and failure is a part and parcel of life. You may fail, don't worry, but don't give up, right? Your failure is when you, your failure is not when you fail. Your failure is when you don't attempt it again. Yeah. So be confident. I'm sure all of you will do well, and I hope all of you come back to us with your preliminary results and say that now I want to prepare for the mains exam really hard because I know I can do it. Yeah. So I hope all of you give your best possible in the exam. All the very best from the team TalentSprint and team GradeUp. I would like to thank the GradeUp team for providing us with these wonderful questions that we have taken up in the last 6 sessions as a part of this IBPS Pure Refresher series. And I would also like to thank the team TalentSprint who has been behind all these wonderful, too much tarif ho rahi hai apni, right? But anyway, thank the team TalentSprint definitely for all these sessions that we have pulled off, and I'm sure they're working really hard in being able to make this go without any problem, right? I mean, they are definitely playing a key role there. So thank you all for giving us this wonderful opportunity, and I hope all of you do well. All the very best. I would not say keep practicing because we are too close to the IBPS exam, right? I usually say keep practicing, but I think it's time to start relaxing and be confident, right? I'll see you all in the next session, next Wednesday. As usual, we'll take up some topic and discuss about some exam. I'm sure we will also get some analysis about the first few slots of IBPS PU exam when we meet next Wednesday. Whether we'll discuss that or not is a different question, but yes, we'll definitely meet next Wednesday at 6 p.m. with another session for your bank and SSC exams, and we will meet again tomorrow before that we'll meet tomorrow at 11 a.m. with your session on vocabulary, right, which will be done by Sylvia. So please join us in the session tomorrow. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified about all these live sessions that we do, and continue preparing for your bank exam. So stay tuned. We have a lot of good content and good live sessions coming up your way for all these exams, and take very good care of yourselves. All the best. I'll see you all in the next session. Bye.